Hi everyone. Welcome to day three, module three, CSS fundamentals. We're gonna be learning how to beautify our HTML structure, right? Yesterday we learned not all, we learned the basics of HTML structure, how to build a simple website with a structure. Far back, I explained what HTML structure is, how you can start the HTML structure, how you can write it, and how you can, modify it to different elements, right? Using tags, using some components like H1, using the paragraph tag, and how to link the images and navigations, linking different pages together. Those are the things that we treated yesterday. And today we're going to be adding style to make the website look good. And CSS is a language that handles that design and layout. Um, let's get quick into it. Learning objective for today is to understand CSS basics, to understand how CSS works, to understand how to connect and beautify our HTML structure, to understand how to use fonts, colors, manage spacing, and style text, control basic layout. Those are the things that we're going to be learning in this module. And I'm just going to get quick right to it because there's a lot to cover in this module, right? By the end of this module, I expect everyone to be able to style a simple web page using CSS and understand how to adjust the visual appearance. You're going to be playing with a lot of tools. You're going to be playing with a lot of elements right here. It's just the fun part of, web development. It's, you just putting colors into text, putting colors into box, trying to create box, trying to create a structure, right? The structure has already been created. Well, you're just trying to style that structure. It's just like look at it as a building that has no painting, that has no electricity inside, that has no interior inside. Look at it as just you trying to put the color, you try to put the, those interiors inside, putting the power, just painting your room to look fine. That's the way CSS works. That's just the simple thing about CSS. So first thing I'm going to be treating, and I'm going to be introducing us to a material soon. And this material is going to help us to learn more deep. We might not be able to cover everything inside this class, but you're going to be playing with it you're going to be playing with it after each lesson. So what I would do is that once you learn, once you read, and once you go through the video, you go to the resource I'm going to share with you and go there to learn more to get more insight into what these lessons are all about. So I'm going to be sharing that in the class group later, and you people should try and remind me also about these resources in case I've not dropped it. Yeah. So let's get right into it. Right. What is CSS itself? Right. What is CSS? CSS is cascading style sheet. When they say something is cascading, cascading style sheets, separating content from design, right? Controls color, controls font, spacing, and layout. That's just the simple meaning of CSS. CSS lets your website visual to be visually appealing. Without CSS, your page looks plain HTML. You see the way the page we did yesterday looks like. That's the way your page looks like. Like it's just there, no color, no fancy thing to to look at there. So, with the help of CSS, it helps you, makes it very visually appealing, right? And and if we are going to talk of colors, right? Colors are major elements to to make you have that insight to, okay, how can I make this thing look beautiful, right? So you must have that um I want to say you must have that insight to be able to choose which color you want to match together, to make your website look good. And when we're talking about color, we're talking about different kind of colors you can use, right? Red, blue, green, different, black, white, and all of that. So you need to be able to know how to use color very well. This is part of the important thing you need to learn. Learn how to use color, right? Once you learn how to use color, you'll be able to know how to match up, use colors to, modify your content and all of that. So, um, we have different kind of colors. There are colors that are called X code. There are colors that are called RGB. RGB simply means red, green, blue, right? And the way the format is, yeah. So, um, the way the format is, yeah. So is it like, for example, now look at this. Look at this. So this format now 3B82FC. Right? This is one, two, three, four, five, six. These are called S codes. X what? X codes. So S code are colors that has like 6 digits, but you need to, you need to just know the color code for each colors that you are using. Like now, for example, if I say black, black has a color code, like which means it has a X code. It has a color code that you have to use for black. Green has a color code you have to use for green, and white has a color code you have to use for white. So it goes on and on like that. So you're gonna have a resource where I will send it to you to know how to pick colors and their code. So if you want to use a particular color, how do you know their code? You get the code of the color to use for to be able to style your HTML element, right? To be able to style your HTML element. And we have different kind of colors and their S code. So yeah, so that is it. So what I'm going to be where we're going now is fonts, right? Fonts also the same thing, the way you have your your um, colors. We also have different kind of fonts and typography. We also have different kind of fonts and typography. We have font family, we have font size, we have font weight, we have font style, you know. It's just I'm sure you guys work with Microsoft Word and or Google Doc. So you know the same way you style your text in Google Doc, the same way you style your text in Microsoft Word is the same way this styling is done in CSS. So if you want to change a particular HTML content which is written in a P tag or H1 tag, if you want to change its font family, all you have to do is to declare the font family, state it clearly. Like now, for example, let's look at this. Can you see? Body, there's a curly bracket here, closing here. Font family is Inter Sans Serif, right? That's the name of the font that you want to change your content to. So if your content must have a uniform font family, which is Inter Sans Serif. So that's the font family. And if you want to define a font size for it, all you just have to define is font size so pixel. The same way you have it on Microsoft Word that you have to choose different font size for your text. You have to just declare it. So if you want a background for it, you have to declare it. If you want a font weight for it, you have to declare it also. You have to declare it. So we're going to be playing with it right now, going into more practical. I just love because this must be uh less of talking and more of practical so that you can understand what I mean. But before you even start to use CSS to start, what are the first thing for you to do? What are the first things for you to do? All right. The first thing for you to do is to know how to connect your CSS, to your HTML file, right? You need to learn how to do that. And there are three ways to add your CSS to your HTML, right? We have the first one to be an internal CSS, external CSS, or inline CSS. Those are the three ways to add your CSS to your HTML. The external one is a link to an external file, an external CSS file, which is the normal standard. You create a CSS file outside right? And then you link it to your HTML. Internal CSS, you use the style component, the style element inside the head section, right? And inline CSS, you use the style attribute on the HTML element. So I'm going to be explaining these three, and you're going to be seeing how it works. So let's go right into our code and write these three ways, and so you can understand better. Let's do some magic right now. I'm going to write into our code, right? Um, so I'm opening our folder. Don't forget our folder, the folder we created yesterday, the web folder we created yesterday. Yes, so I'm opening it right now. I'm opening our folder. So yeah. So we created the about page yesterday. We created a contact page. We created an index, and also we created a folder for uh for the image, right? We created a folder for the image yesterday, right? These are the things we did yesterday. So we're gonna be creating a style CSS, right? A style CSS um um file, external. That's the external way to, link your CSS to your HTML. That's the external way to link your HTML, CSS to your HTML. So I'm going to be deleting this because I think I created it earlier. Yeah. So I'm going to be creating a new file now. Inside that my folder, remember that we created the folder yesterday. So you just have to open your folder through your software. Once you open your folder through your software, the first thing to you to do, create a new file, and name it style.cxs. Once you create it, it will tell you where to create it. So you tell it that you want to create it inside your folder. You go to your folder, this is your web folder, you create it here, create it style.css. Yeah. So automatically you have created your style.css file, which is the external file. This is how to create a external CSS file, right? This is how to create it. And the next thing for you to do is to go to your index, which is your first page, or your home page, the first page. So I'm going to change this title to home today, right? Yeah, home. So, so the first thing for you to do is to now link it to your, to link it to your, um, to link it to your index, your first page, right? Because that's the page you want to start. So you're going to link it to that page. And to link it to that page, every linking of any external file must be done inside the head tag. And where is the head tag? You can see the head tag here. This is the head tag here after title. So what you have to do is to now write this set of code. Link dash rel, then puts I think, yeah. So put style sheet, right? Um, then href. You remember that I told you something about href being linking. Yeah, you use href to link to files, right? The same thing you did here. See, use it to link to your page, to your other page. So I'm going to link my external CSS here now and call it the name of that my CSS. I'm going to the software has already seen it already. So um okay. So I'm going to say style.css. So I'll just pick it and then voila, that's it. It's done, right? So you save, Control S, and your CSS is linked externally. So this is how to link your CSS. And how do you know if it is working after you've linked it? So the first thing you have to do, since you have linked it together, the first thing you have to do is to go to your style.css file and write a simple code to style any of the elements you can see inside this index page, right? So we're going to choose this H1 here and style this H1 element here, right? Let's style the H1 element through the external CSS we just created. How do we do that? We come to this style and create we want to start H1. So the first thing for you to do is to do H1, right? H1, introduce this curly bracket. See this bracket, right? H1. What do you want to style in H1? What do you want to style in H1? So uh, you want to style, let's say the text for H1, you want to change it to, something different. You want to change the background, you want to change, yeah, the same way we have it in this presentation. Let me show you typical example of what I'm talking about. This is it. You see, so we have the body. See the body. They open the bracket of the body. They want to change the font family, the background of it, of our body, line height. So can you see an H1 here? Color ahead. So now, since we have linked it, we just want to test if it is properly linked or not. So let's just change the background color of our body and see what will happen. Before we do that, I need to explain the normal structure of how a CSS is supposed to be. I need to explain that first. How how do you write a CSS code, right? How do you write it? Which is the syntax, right? Which is the syntax? How do you write a CSS syntax? How do you write a CSS, code? Now, it's simple, right? To write a CSS code, I want to show you something. Yeah, I want to show you something here. Yeah, this is it, right? If you're looking at this right now, the CSS rule consists of a selector and a declaration block, right? The H1 is the selector. Declaration is where you now declare the property and the value. What do I mean by property? Property are like font size, font family, background, different attributes you can give to a particular element, right? So color is an attribute, font size is an attribute, background color is an attribute, font weight is an attribute. So but the value is the particular content that you want to, like now, for example, if I say color, what are the different kind of colors? We have blue. So those are the values. If I say font size, we have different kind of sizes, like from 1 pixels to 100 pixels to, 1000 pixels, right? If I say font weight, we have different pixels for it too. You can say bold, you can say maybe italics and all of that. So if I say background color, you can decide to choose your S code that I told you about that. You can put your code inside it and all of that. So this is the normal syntax for CSS. So, which means that anytime you want to write your CSS, all you have to do is to know how to write it, right? You can see that this thing follows it. Body is what you're styling. Then you open a curly bracket, then the font family, then the background color. So what we're going to do now is go into our code and change. I'm just going to style our body first. So I'm just going to style our body first. So what should be inside the body, right? The first thing is background color. So let's say our background color will be black, right? Background color will be black. So we have successfully declared our background color for our index to be black. So let's go and check if it is well connected or not. If it's not connected, we're going to troubleshoot it to see what is not connecting, because you're going to encounter all these things when you are doing your own, right? You're going to encounter all these things. So it's better to know how to troubleshoot your actions and what you're doing. One of the things that makes you a good web developer is the more you code, the more you write this code, the more you get better and the more you know how to solve problems. If you have not getting to a stage where you see errors and you're correcting errors by yourself, you've not really become that good enough. So you need to be able to troubleshoot. So Part of the skills you need to learn is to learn the ability to troubleshoot, ability to identify problems, ability to know where the problem is right now. So, yeah. So if you write a code, normal, it's supposed to execute. But sometimes you get to a place whereby the code is not running expected, like the way you want it, right? The way you want it. So, so what I'm going to say is for you to, so I think I choose the wrong settings the other time. Yeah. So I'm going back here now. So yeah, for it to just choose how to style this. So let's go into it now and run our code. Let's run it. Let's run our code. Um, you remember that how do you run your code? You go to your folder and run your index. Just open it through the browser. Double click it and open it through the browser. Yeah. So this is it. Can you see that our style has been successfully linked externally, right? This is the normal standard to link your CSS to your HTML. Can you see the background color is black? So let's go back to the code and change it to something blue. Change it to blue and save. And let's refresh the page. Can you see? Right? So it has changed to blue. So if I'm going to change, this is how you know that, okay, oh, my CSS file is linked to my HTML since I'm making actions and it's working. So now you can now have the confidence to do more styling to any component you want. Do you understand? So that's just simple as it is. I don't want to waste our time because our time is going and we need to rush down to other modules. So right now, so what I'm going to do is I'll just play with the element, try to change color, try to change. So I'm going to add another element to our CSS now and just change it. So I'm going to add an element to it. So I'm going to style my H1. I'm going to start my H1. How do I style my H1? You come here and do H1. Don't forget, it's because I have an H1 inside my index, right? This is H1 element, and this is body. The body is the whole styling of entire thing here. So if I want to style this H1 alone or this H2 tag alone, what I have to do is to go to my CSS and declare. Don't forget the syntax for declaring CSS, right? You put your tag first, then you open a curly bracket in front of it, and here declare it. State its property and its value. So I want to give it font. I want to give my H1 a color. I want to give it like, let's say white. Or let's just choose. Okay, let's choose white. All this has a color code. White has a color code. The color code, you can write the S code of white here, right? You can write, instead of just choosing the real color, you can just write the S code of it. The S code of white should be this, this in 6. Yeah, that's the S code of white. So let's go and check if our H1 has been styled. Can you see? Our H1 has been styled white, right? This is our H2 tag here. Let's style it also. Let's go ahead and style it, right? Can say H2, open the curly brackets, inside it, then declare the color. Declare the color to be, let's say, aqua, blue, right? Let's just use this as an example, right? So I'll save, and then let's go and run it. Can you see? So this is how styling works. in a simple format. This is how styling works. It shows that you have linked your file to it. So now let's go right to how to link our CSS internally, right? Internally is not the normal standard, but it works. People do it, but the normal standard is just to link your file externally. But I want to show you guys so that at least you understand that, okay, you can link your CSS internally also, not just externally, right? So uh, the internal one, you have your index here. So instead of linking it up here, right? You don't need that, right? You don't need that. All you have to do is to look at your whole what's it called? Your whole CSS and just put the style itself, the style you're supposed to put here, everything you're supposed to put here, you copy it and now put it inside the head itself. So this is a linking the file, right? Instead of having this link, you will not have it now, right? You will not have it. What you have now, you are going to declare the style itself and declare its style, right? Declare the style. Once you declare the style, you open it and then declare everything you want, right? Background color, want your background color to be this. You want your what's it called? Your body to be this and all of that. All those things you declare it inside here. So I'm going to copy everything and put it everything in this style. Yeah, that we have done. I'm gonna copy it and put it inside our style here, right? This is how to style. This is how to style internally, right? You can see that it's not that neat because you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, like it's not like you're not supposed to do that. It's just that it doesn't make your work well structured. Putting your style inside your HTML page is not well structured. So the best thing is for you to just create a separate file outside and then